Hey guys, Scare9 here, and welcome back to the Last Word Podcast, Episode 6. As always, I am joined by my co-host, Icano.
What's up, everybody?
Sweet. And so Episode 6, pretty good one. We had a lot of great feedback last week, as always. Just more than normal last week. Loving it, guys. Just make sure you keep sharing this around with your friends. And, the more people that watch it, the more feedback we can get, and the better, this ends up doing in the long run, which is always awesome. But today we have a couple really awesome things, kind of small changes, but very important changes to talk about, and as well as the McFarlane toy stuff that we've kind of talked about a few times, but we have full details now. So just as always, we'll start with the weekly update. And the first thing, we got a lot of small balances that are happening in response to update 2502. So the first one is going to be to sidearms. So the direct quote is, "We are currently working on a change that will allow sidearms to continue to spawn with a small set amount of ammo post-death, but keep them from stacking anything extra. They'll be handy if you run into resistance on your way to the ammo crate, but keep your sidearm usage high. You'll need to stock up often." So just right off the bat, that's very interesting. So what I get from that, Icono, is every time you die, you're only going to spawn with enough sidearm ammo to maybe kill like one person, and then you're gonna have to get backup ammo. Well, do you get anything different from that, and what are your thoughts?
Well, if you think about it, when the match starts, you start with about a clip and a half of ammo, depending on which sidearm you're using. I'm basing this off of the Trespasser. You're able to go through a full clip, reload, and then you get a half a clip when you first start a Crucible game. What I'm getting from this is that they're hip to the fact that, and this was all over Reddit last week, people were complaining that if you, spawn into a Crucible game, don't die, grab two special ammo crates, and then die, when you respawn, you're not respawning with that clip and a half of ammo. You're respawning with those two ammo crates you picked up as well. So I guess it was kind of a glitch that it shouldn't have done that, because the whole point that they were doing for all this secondary weapons was that you were not going to respawn with any ammo that you had picked up throughout the match. Well, obviously that was broken for sidearms. That slipped through the cracks. So what they're going to do is they're basically going to limit it to whatever you get at the start of the match is what you get every time you respawn. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fair. Like you said, that's enough to probably kill one or two people, and that's it. I don't think I mean, people are going to be picking up ammo crates because, like I said last week, the respawn on those ammo crates is so quick now. You're going to be picking up special ammo throughout the match anyways. I really don't think anything will be super broken with sidearms with that change. I think what they're doing is they're reacting to the fact that last week sidearm usage probably spiked because it was the only reliable source of, secondary ammo. Now it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You're still going to start with ammo, but it's not going to be as much as you had last week. What they didn't say is when all these changes will be going in. They say that these are all potential changes. So even these changes that we're reading off here, they might still change, and we don't have a confirmed date as to when they'll be dropping. So for the time being, if you still want to be a sidearm champion, you can still use it and gain the benefits of picking up those crates and keeping that ammo after death.
Yeah, and I think, first off, I think you're right. I think just from playing Crucible, there was a noticeable increase in sidearm usage. So I would love to see like one of those graphs they're always showing, and I just want to, because I bet it was just an immediate spike. And I think that stuff like that I wish was open to the public. I don't know if that's part of the API. Like, I don't know if I could go and code a program to do that, because if I could, I will. Because I don't know. I've always been interested in the statistical side of Destiny. And that's just stuff that really, really interests me. We can point fingers all day long, but when they have graphs and stuff to back up what they're doing, it makes a lot more sense. So I definitely think you're right with that. One thing I still think that sidearms are going to be probably the most used thing, because they still will spawn. Only being able to get one kill off of each time you spawn is still more than zero. So I still think they'll be the kind of go-to, special weapons for most people. And I'm trying to think. You're right. We don't know exactly when they're going to launch. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple minutes. So the second change is to the Memory of Scory, which this is really impressive because in the live stream, they revealed that they hadn't been looking at this at all. So that means that the turnaround for this kind of fix that they're looking at happened literally within the time span of like 2.5 weeks. Which, one thing I will note is that Bungie's response when Christopher Barrett and Scott Taylor are leading an expansion seems to be so much quicker than when Luke Smith is. It's like, I just feel like in the Taken King, we got one, maybe two weapons balances with the Taken King for an entire year. And granted, we didn't get one right off the bat with the Rise of Iron, but we got one a couple months after. But the response rate to those fixes is happening literally the week after, which is, I don't know, I'm very happy about that. That's pretty impressive to me.
And I like the transparency, too. I like the fact that, because what we've always asked out of these weekly updates is that if there's something coming down the pipeline, you don't have to give us all the details. Just tell us what you're thinking. What are you going to try to do? Even if you can't, even if you fail, even if you have to change things, even if you can't do everything that you're trying to do, at least you're trying. But when we've gone week after week getting these weekly updates and not hearing anything from Deej or anybody, it gives the impression to the community that nobody's even trying to fix this stuff.
Yeah.
At least this weekly update was probably the most impressive I've seen from Bungie. I'm going to venture to say ever, because I mean the fact that this, like you said, this happened last week. Now a week later, we're finding out that they are identifying the issues. They have ideas on how to fix the issues, and they're going to try and implement a change to fix those issues soon. And not only that, but they're actually giving us an outline of what they're thinking and what they're going to try and do. Even if it doesn't happen, they're just telling us that. So like that's all I've been saying for since day one about this whole roadmap thing. If you give us a roadmap, even if you tell us, all right, we're thinking about putting in 3 new strikes, we're thinking about doing like 4 or 5 new story missions, and we're thinking about adding 6 new exotic weapons to the game. And when April comes and we only get 2 new strikes and we don't get any of the story content, and then we only get 4 new exotic weapons, the community is not going to burn Bungie at the stake. The community will be happy to know that you at least told us what you're trying to do or what you're thinking about doing. This is the first example I've seen of that yet from Bungie.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I would like to point out, so you said this is the most impressive weekly update, in a long while at least. And I think it's kind of funny that Cosmo wrote this one and not Deej.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's probably a coincidence that all this stuff just happens to be happening when Deej is out of country. But that's still pretty funny to me.
But to be clear, though, it wasn't Cosmo, it was Josh Hamrick. And
yeah.
Josh, I'm getting the impression that when Josh is involved, when he's, sending these updates to Cosmo and he's saying, this is what I want to put in the weekly update, this is what I want to tell the community, I'm getting the impression that when he does that, that's when we get the information we want, or that's the information that the community is craving right now. When he's not involved, and when it's, Joe Schmo on the Crucible team or on the creative team, I'm noticing that we're not getting as much detail as we're getting from Josh. So as far as I'm concerned, I want Josh to be a permanent fixture in these weekly updates now. I want him every week now, because we seem to be getting information from him that we're not getting from others.
Yeah. And I think this is either the second, it might be the 3rd week in a row even that we've got some type of news from him. So I definitely agree. Like I don't know if how long he's been involved with the Crucible team. Since he's the director, I think he's the director. It stands to reason that he's probably been there for quite a long time, but I don't know if they're just now starting to go to him and ask him to give his input or whatever, but I agree with you. Like, he's straightforward to the point. When he does make like an aside, it's in a funny aside, and it doesn't take away from the overall content. He's very good at that kind of thing. So I agree with you. I don't know if there's enough weapon balancing stuff to happen every week, but just every time they start to work on anything new, I agree with you that they should give us, it steps into the transparency side of things that we're always talking about.
Right.
and I think this would definitely be a good way to do it. Anyways, so the second one is to the memory of Scory. So the change currently in testing requires a kill to jumpstart Scory's unique ability for the next minute. Once it times out, you'll need another kill to jumpstart it again. So the kind of feeling behind this is that, you know, in PvE you won't have any trouble killing an enemy every 60 seconds. But in Crucible, if you're just camping everywhere, you know, you won't be getting that one kill. And I think that's a solid change. So you can't just camp in the corner of a map and give everyone their supers. I think that's an excellent change. So,
and it doesn't break PvE either. That's been one of my biggest gripes with Crucible changes, is that it always ends up bleeding over to PvE, and PvE ends up getting broken somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And this absolutely does not do that. It's actually not anywhere close to touching PvE, because getting a kill every 60 seconds in PvE is almost automatic. So I like that they were able to find a solution to this problem that's not going to hurt, you know, PvE players like me. So that's good. That's great news.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would just like to say, guys, we don't really have a lot of stuff going on in chat right now. So if you are watching, because I just checked the things, we do have a couple people watching. Make sure you leave. Oh, just as I say that, someone left their feedback in there. Cool. We do all of the community input at the very end, so just make sure that you're leaving all your opinions, because that's pretty much the biggest part of the podcast is community feedback. So very important. Just to the next one is going to be the truth, which I was sort of happy with this. I still. Last week I talked about how I thought that they did a little bit of overkill on the truth. I feel like you could have nerfed it into 2 rockets in the magazine instead of 3, and it would have done what they wanted, but they went all the way down to 1. So as an avid truth user, I was a little bit disappointed, but these changes will help fix it. To make the changes a little bit easier to deal with, they're looking to add 1 additional rocket to the backpack. So I would just like to clarify that is to your reserve ammo and not to the magazine size. And then they are also making it the max rocket launcher reload speed. So I remember in year 1, I believe the Ash Factory is the max reload, and I remember that thing reloads pretty quickly, especially if you have rocket launcher gloves on. So I think that's a pretty solid change for the truth. You know, if they are going to insist on having one rocket in the magazine, I think this is a nice way to kind of balance it out, because it'll reload very, very quickly. And you know, and having an additional rocket is always pretty nice. I know you probably don't use the truth very much, Icono, but do you have any input on that?
Well, actually, I do. You know, there's, you know, I mean, whenever there's Voidburn Nightfall, I'm putting it on.
Oh yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, anytime that there's Voidburn Heroic, you know, I typically wear it. You know, people like to use the Dark Drinker, but I think that that's a little unsafe in a Nightfall. You don't want to get that close to enemies. So I actually like to use the Truth in Nightfalls when it's Voidburn or Heroics. I'm still not completely happy with this, because I'm going to go back to my previous statement of, you know, PvP changes affecting PvE negatively. Mm-hmm. This in my opinion is still one of them. You know, one of the biggest arguments in Destiny overall right now is that the exotic weapons don't feel exotic anymore, and this is just another example where you know, one of the things that made the Truth feel exotic was those three in the tube. Not even the mighty Gjallarhorn has that, and it's like you take one of the things that makes it special away, and now you're just making an exotic weapon feel less exotic, and that's just been one of my biggest gripes since day one. Is to don't mess with the exotic weapons, just leave them like they are. So I don't know. I think it's fine. I mean, it's gonna serve its purpose for trials, and for, you know, all Crucible. I mean, it's gonna do its part there. I'm just afraid that in PvE, if there's a Voidburn Nightfall, I'm gonna have to seriously consider just putting on a legendary, you know, Void rocket, and not not using an exotic slot in my heavy, and then
Well,
that's
you have the Abaddon now, right?
yeah, they do have the Abaddon now, and they did fix the really bad recoil on it, so that's good. But
Which again, that was really quick.
yeah, it was.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've been more of a rocket guy than machine gun, anyways, especially when it comes to nightfalls because you want to clear out as many ads as possible. I don't know. I am relatively still pretty upset with the truth changes. I think they should have just not touched it. It's just like I always go back to when they nerfed the throwing knife on hunters. It's like, why? Nobody was complaining about that. That came out of nowhere.
Actually, people were asking to make it a one-hit kill, and then they did the exact opposite.
They did the exact opposite. I mean, this seems like it's like very similar to that. That it's one of those changes that was just not necessary. Nobody was asking for it. Nobody needed it.
Yeah.
And now, sure, you're trying to fix it, but I'm still feeling like PvE is getting the short end of the stick.
I think that goes back to, again, like I was saying, like us not having those charts readily available. I think I don't know. I feel like if people were able to access the API and do that, it would have been done already. That's something I'll definitely personally look into for Destiny 2. Me and my brother are both getting into coding a little bit more. So if that's a possibility, man, just because I feel like, there had to be a reason behind the throwing knife change, excuse me, and I feel like it just wasn't clarified very well. But if we had something like those charts, I think we would be able to see it. Same thing with the truth. The truth was being used a hell ton in trials, and I think that was the basis behind it. But they didn't tell us that, which is a little bit weird. But I guess if they don't. I guess if they have constant access to the graphs, it might be a little bit. Maybe sometimes they forget that we don't, So I don't know. I'm getting a little bit rambly now, but.
Well, no company will ever give you everything. No company will ever give you. No company will ever peel back the curtain all the way and completely take away the fourth wall.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a modicum level of secrecy with any large company, especially when a publisher like Activision's involved. So we're never going to get all of the details. It's just a little bit more transparency is what the community has been asking for, and I think we're getting it now.
Yeah. Let's see. That was the truth, right? All right, then we have the No Land Beyond. So what they're doing with the No Land Beyond, this was the same kind of thing with the sidearms, where as soon as this change went live, it started being used like way more. So they're looking to make the stability like a normal sniper rifle, so it'll kick a lot more when you're getting shot, which is definitely a good change. And then no, that's it. That's all they're doing. But so their goal with that is, if you're good with it, you're skilled, and you get the first shot off in an encounter, it'll still be really powerful. It'll still feel exotic. But if you fall behind, it'll be a lot harder to win that gunfight, which I am definitely a fan of. I hate that gun. I've never been really a fan of that or the universal. Secondaries just need to stay secondaries. But I definitely noticed an increase in No Land Beyonds this week, especially in trials, and I think that's a solid way to balance that. What do you think?
Well, I think part of the influx of No Land Beyond right now is that there isn't anything to do in Destiny right now as far as new content, and people are just looking for new stuff to do and new weapons to try. And I think No Land Beyond's one of those guns that nobody ever really messes around with, and they figure, now's the time to start goofing around with new stuff. And I think that might be a part of it. I don't think everybody's using No Land Beyond because it's one of the most powerful guns in the game right now. I mean, it's a very difficult gun to use. I mean, it's not for everybody. I mean, you have to be relatively skilled with it to even try it. I was watching I forget who it was. I think it was like MTashed, but I was watching a YouTube video of a guy giving a tutorial on how to use the No Land Beyond, and he flat out told you, and this is a Crucible player, and this is what he does, and he flat out said, your KD will drop for the first few hours of playing with this gun. you're not going to
Yeah.
be able to like just go, immediately start wrecking with this thing. Your KD is going to drop while you get used to it. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure that the influx of usage is tryhards that are trying to find the best thing. I think it's just people just trying to have fun with the game. What I think is hilarious is that we've gotten to a point now in Crucible where the No Land Beyond is getting a nerf. I mean, the fact that I just said that sentence, the No Land Beyond is getting a nerf, I think is absolutely hilarious. That we've actually gotten to this point now where the No Land Beyond is getting a nerf. That just blows my mind.
I mean, it's really good though. Like some people are spot on with it.
Oh yeah.
I think one of the main problems with it is that it doesn't kick it all right now. Also, I feel like what they should have done is so between shots, you get that stupid animation where you have to wait forever to load another shot, which is good because it bounces it out, but you can sprint cancel that and immediately take your next shot.
And they're never going to fix that because that you can technically do that with hand cannons. You can do that with the last word.
I mean,
you can do that with everything.
That's inherent, but I feel like if they could find a workaround for that in the No Land, I feel like that would be the better way to balance it. I don't know. It's a little bit more punishing, but it still allows you to compete in firefights. So yeah. And then the final one is to blink. Thank goodness, man. I was happy with the blink nerf, but this was like the third time in a row blink has been nerfed without getting buffed at all. So I mean, it was getting hit pretty hard. So what they're doing is they're removing the old recovery nerfs. So whenever you used to blink, because people would run away so ridiculously with it, they would temporarily decrease your recovery or increase the time it took to get your recovery back, just so you couldn't dodge bullets for like 2 seconds and then get your health back. They're also pulling back the time that you're HUDless. So right now you're HUDless for like a second, maybe two, and they're pulling that back a little bit. So it's kind of getting double buffed right here, which is it's nice to see. The response time on this was really fast, which I'm a big fan of, and I hope this will make Blade Dancers a little bit more fun to use. I was using it, and it's not too bad. If you're a situational player, you're always aware of what's going on around you. It's not that bad at all, but if the only times I ran into problems with it is if I forgot if I had my super or not, and then I'd like blink into a crowd of enemies and be like, I'd like spam my super buttons and find out I don't have it. That kind of sucks. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's good. They're buffing it back, which is pretty good. Do you ever use blink in PvE, Icono?
Yeah, I mean, blink, oddly enough, is one of the things that sold me on this game. I don't know if you remember the first wave of commercials that we got for this game when it came out. They had the live action one where they were on the moon, and one of the things when they started getting into like they were getting into a battle somewhere. It might have actually been on Venus. Now I'm thinking about it. But they were like, oh, there's a big one coming. I think it was like a big cabal walking towards them. And the hunter was like, I got this. He like pulls out his grenade. He walks up to the cabal. He's like running at the cabal. He throws his grenade, and then he blinks through the cabal, and he ends up like on the other side of the cabal. And the cabal looks down, and then it's the grenade, and it blows up. I just remember how freaking badass that was, and I was like, I need to do this. This is a video game that's coming out. I need to play this. I want to do that. So that was actually one of the first things I saw in the game. And I was like, that looks awesome. I want a game that does that. So what's funny is that since this game has come out and since I've put in 2,000 plus hours into it, I never use it. So that's kind of ironic. Part of the reason why I don't use it is, like you said, it's not really a PvE thing. And part B to that is that they've nerfed it into the ground. If it was still at year one level and it had no cooldown at all and no recovery issues, I might still use it. I mean it actually, it's good to get away even in PvE when there's like a ton of thrall and things like that. They just can't keep up with it. So and I'm using Crota as an example. When you're running the lamps, if you're able to get your weight of darkness down and you've got 1 million thralls on you, you can blink away and you can get like a good solid like 30 feet of distance between you and the thrall, where you can then, throw a grenade, pop a super, go invisible, whatever you need to do to get away from them. That blink would actually help you quite a bit in those cases. So it was still very usable in that case, and I still use it a little bit today.
Yeah.
And when I solo Crota with my hunter, but literally that's the only time I use it. That's the only reason I would ever have to use it. One of the ideas that I had, that I actually saw, I think it was on Reddit, and I think it's funny. I think I need to post more on Reddit, because I can't tell you how many times I read on Reddit someone say something and I think to myself, God, I was just seeing that yesterday. I need to post these first. I want to be the first one out. But I saw someone say, the Astrocyte verse is useless right now. That's the hunter, the warlock exotic helmet. That thing is beautiful, but it's completely useless. What if the exotic perk on that helmet actually completely removed the recovery issues with Blink? And what if it actually buffed Blink a little bit? Like, I don't know, I did something to it.
Well, its perk does increase recovery after Blink. Yeah, I don't know if it completely negates it, but
that's what I want. I want that helmet to completely negate that, because that way that's something that's something that they're doing twofold now. Now they don't have to worry about messing with Blink anymore by buffing it anymore, and now they're actually making an exotic helmet, useful to actually wear. It's in everybody's vault and nobody touches it, so that would be a good reason to bring that exotic up. So I would love to see something like that, where and that was another idea that I had, that I saw someone on Reddit, they posted about it and they beat me to it. Going back to Scories, instead of doing the whole 60 seconds for every kill that you get or whatever, what if every kill you get, you just pop out an orb? That way you're just spitting out orbs every time you get a kill with Scories.
Oh, that's not bad.
I mean, there would be limitations to it probably. Like you can't get orbs off of, like let's say you can only get orbs off of majors, or let's say you can only get orbs off of anything that's bigger than a thrall, like, so you can't get it off shanks and like stupid stuff. But and it's not like a huge orb. It's one of those tiny little orbs.
Yeah.
And then and then that way you're just running around, and that what that does is, now you can't camp, but if you're doing Trials of Osiris and you're out there getting kills, you're going to be spitting out all these orbs and your team can pick them all up.
Yeah.
So it completely negates the camping issue in Trials, and then it also it gives a benefit to PvE as well, for like those helmets. I mean, I don't know if people use them in Crucible, but those helmets that you regenerate health on orb pickup.
Yeah, there's pretty much like on every exotic.
Okay, so yeah, like you can put that on, and then boom, now you have a way of healing your teammates too. I'm a big proponent of adding more support type stuff to PvE. This game, for as deep as it is, it doesn't really have a true support class.
Yeah.
I think the Defender Titan is about as close as you can get to a support class. That might open it up a little bit. So that was another idea I had. I know I'm going off back to a previous topic, but
no, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff that, like, when they're trying to make these changes, when they're trying to fix things, instead of fixing the issue, maybe another way that they could look at is, well, let's try and see what exotics are people not using, and maybe we can add this to that exotic, and then maybe that would give people a reason to use that exotic. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. That's a pretty solid idea. See, that's the thing. I feel like I don't know. Like stuff like that, it's really hard to tell. So I guess I'll compare it to like open programs that have open source code, so it lets pretty much anyone come and make whatever plugins they want for it. I think a game company kind of needs to be like that, where they open up for suggestions. They're like, we need to fix Blink. What do you guys suggest? People actually like suggest things. Like, don't only use Reddit. Like, open up an actual thing on Bungie.net and let people suggest to you, what they think the best changes would be, and then go from there. I think that's a very solid way to do it, because we know they read Reddit, we know they read social media and stuff, but if you had a dedicated place purely to ideas, I feel like you'd get a lot more constructive feedback. and it
Sure.
would be easier to vet stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is all 5 of the small weapon balances we are getting. Or, well, not necessarily all weapon, but just balances. I also wanted to point out next week is Iron Banner. It is going to be Supremacy, finally. That's my favorite. I know a lot of people don't like Supremacy, but I do. It'll be really interesting to see how Supremacy plays out without shotguns being so prevalent. That would be interesting for sure.
Well, think about why people don't like Supremacy. People don't like Supremacy because the game mode forces you to run out into the fray. You can't sit back and snipe and use your might of multi-tool the whole time. You actually got to get out there and get into it. And what happened when Supremacy first came out is it was matadors all over the place.
Yeah.
So it was just not fun. You'd go out to grab a crest and you'd be getting hit from matadors every which direction. Now, with the special ammo changes, I'm not even sure that people will be using Matador. They might be, but it won't be nearly as powerful with all the nerfs that shotguns got, and it also won't be happening nearly as much with all the special ammo changes. So Supremacy, yeah, I mean, it'll probably be very interesting to see how it's played. You can go play it right now. I don't know what it feels like right now to people. But in a competitive aspect of Iron Banner, it'll be interesting to see what the most popular loadouts are. What I'm assuming that people are going to be playing are hand cannon, sidearm, and maybe I don't know, I guess people will still be using Truth. Who knows?
Yeah, I think probably a machine gun for Supremacy just because it's big team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It'll be really weird. I'll probably jump in with a shotgun just to see, because if your team's winning and being able to get all of the areas down, you'll have a decent amount of special for until you die. So if you're one of the solid players that doesn't die all the time, I think you'll be fine. Well, we'll see. I'll do some live streams probably just to check it out. That goes live on Tuesday. I always do my inventory review as soon as it launches, if I'm home on Tuesday. Yeah, I should be. Anyways, she will be selling the hand cannon, the sniper, boots, and helmets. We don't know what roles yet, obviously, but pretty solid. Pretty solid indeed. And then I just wanted to include a quick quote from the very end of this week at Bungie, where they hint towards when we get information finally about the new update. So Cosmo says, "That does it for this week. Next week, Deej will be back stateside. Maybe he will even draw up a roadmap of what to expect in the month of March. Yes, this is where you can make jokes about how we're hinting at future updates about future updates." So, that's pretty solid. That sounds like next week we will get an update about when we will get to see updates, which is pretty exciting. My guess, just real quick, is next week Deej will be like, we'll be hosting a live stream very last week of March, and then that week we'll figure out about the April update, and I think that's probably my best guess. What do you think, Icano?
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the wording of that. It says maybe we'll draw up a roadmap of what to expect in the month of March. What I'm thinking is that the way that he's wording that is that Deej is going to work up a roadmap of what to expect to happen in March. So the way that read to me, when I first read that, the way I read that is Deej is going to give us an idea next week in the weekly update what we're going to get in March. I don't know. I mean, maybe I just read that wrong, but
I think it could be taken both ways.
Yeah, and they're always so freaking cryptic. It's you have to be able to analyze and translate what they're trying to say. But that's what I got out of it. I got out of it that Deej will be back next week to tell us what we're getting in March, not that we'll be talking in March about later. And that's interesting to me because we've gotten kind of used as a community to getting the spring updates in April. If we get an update in March, that's actually huge.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out. My thinking is that it's just, since we're in the last week of February, right? Yeah, we are. Well, close to it. We're like 2 days off. So I just feel like if I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I just feel like if we were getting something in March, I feel like we would have heard about it already. Because I don't know, they usually like to give a little bit more than 2 weeks notice. But the thing that is very important is PAX East is next week, so we might. Yeah, you know what? I just thought about that. I didn't think about that until right now. But yeah, the PAX East is next week. I bet we'll get some info on our next expansion or event at PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least a trailer. They dropped the Dawning trailer at a gaming event, right? I'm trying to think. I always get this wrong. It might have been the Festival of the Lost. Might have been at the PS thing.
Yeah, I don't think the Dawning was, but I think the Festival of the Lost was.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah, I get them all mixed up. There's just so many freaking events and stuff. So yeah, I bet we'll get a solid trailer or tease next week for sure. And then in the weekly update, he'll be like, you can expect a live stream now, and then we'll get the live stream, and then, which I would just like to say, Bungie, please, for the love of everything, do not fly YouTubers out to this one. I just want to play my content without knowing what it is. And there is always the argument, you don't have to watch those videos, but when I'm a YouTuber that's trying to become relevant, so I do have to watch those videos so I can report on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So just please don't do it, Bungie.
Well, yeah, I don't like spoilers at all, especially with this type of stuff, because especially with Rise of Iron, I mean, we saw everything. We saw all 3 strikes. We saw all the new stuff. We saw the armor sets. We saw everything. I mean, didn't they have the raid in one of the videos? And like you could actually see like people jumping through like the jumping puzzle in the Wrath of the Machine.
Just the trailer, but yeah.
But come on, it's like they've never done that.
They they showed so much that they also showed the beginning of the raid, the Guardians jumping into it. Remember, before the raid launched, I did my guess in the line chat of what the raid was going to be, and I was dead right. I got everything right just based on what promo material.
And you should not be able to do that. And I hope that they learn their lesson with that. I mean, and that probably may not be Bungie. That might be Activision saying, look, you've got to get a little bit more aggressive with your advertising. We got to get more people playing this, start showing people a little bit more. And that might have been a problem. That might have been, that Activision might have, pushed that a little bit. I hope not. I hope that it was just a simple mistake that they got a little too eager.
Yeah, I think they were excited because it was the first content in a year, and they were like, we need to show everyone.
And they were probably really happy with the Wrath of the Machine too, because it's a really good raid.
It's a solid raid.
They were probably like really happy with it, so they couldn't wait to put it in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
I just hope that they have a little bit more restraint next time, because
if you consider they were so excited to show us the redone Omnigul and Nexus Mind Strikes because they were old favorites returning. Well, if the April update is just the Vault of Glass and Crota Zen coming back with some changes, it stands to reason that they'll have the same mindset, right? And they'll be like, oh, they've already seen this before, might as well show them before it happens. And that's something I definitely do not want to happen ever. I just want to, give me one kind of peek at Exotic or in a trailer, I don't want all these people covering it. Again, like I've said before, it might be just a little bit of jealousy peeking through because I do not yet have the audience size to warrant Activision paying hundreds of dollars for me to come play early. But that's all right. I understand business. But again, from a consumer standpoint, I don't like knowing everything that happens before it happens. And I think most people would agree with me on that.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to get spoiled, especially, what happened with Rise of Iron is twofold. Not only did we get to see everything, but there really wasn't that much of it. So we got to see everything. We saw all 3 strikes. We saw the raid. We saw the new gear. Then Rise of Iron comes out, and there wasn't anything else in addition. It's like, because what I kept telling myself the way I was justifying Bungie's actions is like, oh, okay, the reason they're showing me all this is because there's going to be a ton of other stuff to like back it up,
Yeah.
and that there maybe there's like, they're showing us these three strikes, but maybe there's like, another Black Spindle kind of mission where like, something's hidden, and nope, no, nothing was hidden, and there was no extra content. It was like pretty much whatever they put out there is what we got.
Yeah.
And we saw it all and we played it all in a couple weeks and we had it beat. So it just, in my opinion, Rise of Iron would have been so much more enjoyable if I didn't know about it going into it.
Yeah. And I just realized that we spent 40 minutes talking about the weekly updates. So we might have to. I'll just make this like a legitimate segment. That was what I was hoping to do anyways. It worked out. I might have to do some cool stuff with the labeling. I'll make the arrows go back and forth or something. But yeah, I'm pretty solid though. I mean, I didn't see anything in this weekly update. I think you're right. After dissecting it even further, I think it was at least one of the best ones they've given, just in terms of pure content and announcements and stuff. So pretty solid.
Yep.
All right. So next, I think we are going to be talking about the health regeneration. So just to give some backstory, with update 2502, they nerfed Blade Dancer, so it gave 40 points of health when you activated the Hungering Blade perk instead of your entire health and shield back. Well, that accidentally nerfed 9 other things in the game, and in response to that, they've been able to playtest a lot and fix accordingly. So not everything is being reverted back to its original state. And some good news is they did collect enough information on Blade Dance where they're actually going to be nerfing it up just a little bit. So instead of 40 points, they're actually going to be buffing Blade Dancer, the Hungering Blade perk specifically, 58%, which means you will now get 63.2 points of health back, I believe. I did the calculations like a week ago. I think that's solid. 63.2 health back. And along with that, the Red Death perk, the Life Steal perk, the Transfusion perk, and the Cauterize perk will also give you 63.2 health points back whenever you activate those, which is the only thing I don't like on that list is the Red Death. I wish that would have been reverted to normal.
Yep.
But I think Bungie's pretty much content with that being a PvE only gun at this point, and I think they're balancing accordingly to that. But everything else on there is pretty, especially Cauterize, man. Like, if they're nerfing Hungering Blade, it only makes sense to nerf Cauterize as well, because as far as I'm concerned, Hammers is a more consistent class. So Blade might be more deadly, you can kill more people with it. Hammers is more consistent, and I feel like if you nerf the health on the slightly weaker class, for instance, it takes 1 hammer to kill a Blade Dancer, but it kills 2 blades to kill 1 hammer. So, or 2 swipes with your blade, rather. So, it makes sense to me to nerf both of them at the same time. The Cauterize that's what I just talked about. I'm a dumb. Transfusion is that the Striker perk? One sec. I believe that is the Striker perk.
I thought Transfusion was the Voidwalker.
No, Transfusion, kills with Storm Fist or Shoulder Charge immediately trigger health regeneration. So that's pretty solid. It makes Shoulder Charge. I didn't know that was in the game even until just now, so cool. It makes Shoulder Charge a little bit less overpowered. Life Steal, again, I mean, if you get Life Steal off on a Voidwalker, man, it's like you're winning that melee fight. So this will make that a little bit more balanced. So I'm pretty happy with all of those. Do you have anything else other than the Red Death you weren't happy with that change? Or
no, I mean, they're doing the best they can, and again, they're being transparent. They're letting us know, what they're thinking and what they're doing. So I'm happy to know that they're aware of it. They're attacking it. They have ideas. They don't want to go too crazy with just reverting it back to normal. They still want to maintain their changes, but they also want to, they want to fix what they broke, but not, go back to the way it was before. And I think that's a good way to play it. If I was Bungie, I would be doing it the same way. I'm happy with everything they listed there, with the exception of Red Death.
Yeah, and then also I just want to go through there's a set list of weapons and perks that they're actually reverting all the way back to normal. So the Suros regime will now give you full health. Ikono, I know you're happy about that.
Yes.
The no backup plans, which again, hey, is that the year 1 no backup plans? I don't even think the year 2 no backup plans do that.
No, yeah, it still does. That I mean, I think you're on your Titan right now. Do you have them on?
Do I have them on me? I don't. I never use them. No, I'm pretty sure the year 1 did that. And then the year 2 made it so you activated Force Barrier instead with shotgun kills. I could be wrong here. I'm actually just messing around. I'll fly to the tower. I'll update that in a second. Apotheosis Veil, that perk, which I believe is just when you use your super, you get your full health back. And then Embrace the Void, which is Dirahamkara's Mask, I think. Could be completely off on that. But either way, they reverted all of those. I'm checking on the no backup plan thing right now. But pretty solid there. I'm pretty excited about the Suros regime myself. I used it when the 2502 first came out. Wasn't impressed with it. I think this might make it a little bit more viable. Oh, I missed it. Ward of Dawn cast. Whenever you pop your Ward of Dawn as well, you'll get your full health.
Yep.
That's good. That that's a super, and that needs to feel super. Like in terms of that's a support super rather. Let's say that, and you're not very supporting if you die right off the bat. So pretty solid. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with all those changes. Just once again, the things, I'll read through the list one more time as I'm going to check out the no backup plans. So 63.2 health will be given for when you activate the Hungering Blade, Red Death, Lifesteal, Transfusion, and Cauterize perks, and you will get your entire health and shields back whenever you activate the Suros regime, no backup plans, Ward of Dawn, Apotheosis Veil, and Embrace the Void perks. So those are the changes happening, and I am currently at my kiosk. Let's see. No backup plans. Year 2 version, their only perk, exotic perk, shotgun kills trigger Force Barrier, and Force Barrier's duration is increased. No, I'm pretty sure it's year 1. Year 1 no backup plans. Where is it? Where is it? Is it the very first one?
Yep.
I'm actually no. I have no idea then. It's the no backup plans year 1 perk is just increased duration of Force Barrier, increased reload speed with special weapons. I have no idea. That's not a perk on any of them. Maybe it's intrinsic.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Does Force Barrier restore your health?
I don't remember the last time I used it.
Right here, I'm checking right now. Force Barrier. Give me it. Where is it? That's really weird. I thought that was weird the first time, but I didn't question it because they're Bungie. I figured they would know. Dude, I don't even see Force Barrier. Yeah, I know. Force Barrier, killing an enemy with the powerful Jesus melee attack creates a Force Barrier around you which absorbs incoming damage. No, it's just an overshield. I have no idea what that is. Maybe it was when the overshield triggered, it only did 40 points of overshield instead of the entire thing. But,
yeah, I don't know.
That's really weird. Huh. But that's pretty much that topic. And then just our final topic for today, one I'm actually very, very excited for myself, is the McFarlane Toys stuff. We finally got the entire lineup of McFarlane Toys, action figures, replicas, and stuff like that coming to the Destiny lineup in 2017. So just the first 3, a 7-inch Vault of Glass Titan figure. You know, we've talked about that before. It comes with the original Gjallarhorn. Very, very cool. The Invective, and an Orange Ghost. So it comes out July 2017, costs $19.99. I would just like to say you can pre-order that already. I've done it myself. I know for a fact you can. It's actually like $2 or $3 cheaper if you pre-order it right now, but it's like $2 or $3 shipping if you pre-order it right now, so it cancels out. These will, just a side note, these will all be sold at any place where they sell McFarlane Toys. So I think, don't quote me on this, I think Walgreens, probably your local comic stores, maybe just stuff like that. I think your best bet's probably going to be getting them online.
Amazon's a fair bet too.
Amazon, there you go. Yeah. This comes with a stand and it has a clear window box, so very very cool. Looking forward to that one. Like I said, I already pre-ordered it, and I will be doing a full review of it because very excited for that. Then we have the King's Fall Warlock, also 7 inches, comes with the Black Hammer, not the Black Spindle. Glad they clarified. The Touch of Malice, and a Green Ghost. One thing I noticed is none of these ghosts match up with their outfits, which I'm not going to try to be too picky, but that kind of sucks. Also costs $19.99, comes out in July 2017. Also comes with a base and a windowed box. And then finally you have the Iron Banner Hunter, 7 inches tall. This one comes with the Thorn and the Hunjuri, 2 primary weapons. Interesting choice. It comes with the Generalist shell, the very first shell in the game. Costs $19.99, window box, stand, out in July 2017. You can pre-order all 3 of those. They all have 14 points of articulation, which means superposable. Pretty cool. I don't really... No, I can't leave them in the box. I was about to say I'll leave them in the box, but I'm doing a review, so that would be dumb. That would be the worst review ever. But I don't know. I've never been one to... I think these are really cool to look at, not play with myself, so I probably won't be using the articulation, but maybe to make them hold the Gjallarhorn or something. Right off the bat, Icono, do you think you'll be getting any of these?
I've already pre-ordered all 3.
Oh dang! Okay, well.
Yeah, like I said, whatever they come out with, I'm gonna buy it. But I'm sure you're gonna talk about it. But I gotta say, that Lord Saladin statue.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's coming up. I think that's the next one. So what he's talking about, 10-inch Lord Saladin. His cape is real, or his neckline rather is like real fur, not like real animal fur, but it's not plastic. It's actual like fur material. Comes with the Iron Axe and Yolder's Hammer, a separate head where he is not wearing his helmet, which I thought was a little bit weird. Why didn't they just make it so you can take off the helmet?
I said the same thing.
Yeah, that seems like that would reduce costs. Either way, he does not come with a ghost. That's a little bit unfortunate, but whatever. That's a small whatevs. Yolder's Hammer, I don't know if I said this. I think either he comes with a separate pair of hands to hold Yolder's Hammer, or you can just twist his hands to hold it. This one didn't have any specifications on how many points of articulation or anything like that, but he looks awesome. He will cost $35 out in fall of 2017, so around September, around the time Destiny 2 will launch. This is one, if my review of the Titan does really well, I'll pick this one up just to do one. If you guys really like it, and it looks really freaking cool as well. So pretty excited for that one. You're gonna get that one too? You said everything they come out with, so you're gonna get this one.
Oh, absolutely. I'm all over it. That is, when I saw that, that was unexpected too. When they first talked about these McFarlane toys, they didn't mention that unless I missed it. Like all I heard was like the 3
the 3 were originally teased, but the leaked list I talked about had it on there, but they weren't talked about until today. Yeah, not today, rather last week. Yeah,
last week. I mean, I missed it. I guess I just wasn't reading closely enough, but I didn't see anything about a Saladin statue. So when I saw that come out, and I was like, oh my goodness, this thing is beautiful.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I can say about Rise of Iron, and positively, is that Lord Saladin was probably my favorite part of Rise of Iron. Mm-hmm. So I want that. I need that on my shelf. So yes, I will be getting that. I did not pre-order that. I don't even know if it is up for pre-order right now.
No, it's not yet.
So, but yeah, once it is, it's all mine.
Yeah, once again, I'm more of a fan of like statue-ish, and in the pictures this one looked more of a statue than like an action figure kind of thing. I don't know, this looked sick though. It looks really nice. Then we have the Gjallarwing Sparrow, which they won't show us stuff on this for whatever reason. I think, don't quote me on this, I couldn't find the exact price. I'm pretty sure on the day all this stuff was happening, I read that it was either $30 or $35. I think it is 10 or 11 inches laying down. Like I said, the The specs were really hard to find on this one. But the cool thing is that the Guardians, the 3 7-inch Guardians will fit on this. So if you like the display, if you like the way a hunter looks on a Sparrow or something, you can buy this and put your Sparrow or your Guardian on it. So that's pretty cool. Pretty solid for posing on a shelf or having a cool display or something. So that's pretty solid. And that's coming out sometime around the holiday of 2017. Pretty vague there. No news for sure. Oh, and it needs to be assembled as well. It's going to come in, I think, 3 or 4 parts, and you'll have to assemble it yourself, that's pretty cool. And then the final big one, the one I am going to beg everyone I know to get me for Christmas. I don't care if they all get together and they do it. The life-size Gjallarhorn. 1-to-1 scale. Iron Gjallarhorn, I should clarify. Beautiful. They did do one thing I don't like about this. It's that it when you pull its trigger, it has a series of noises. Like I've said just a couple times in the past few minutes, I don't like the feeling that these are more like toys rather than props. So if I have it hanging up on my wall, I don't really care. But I wish they had like a non-speaker version where I could just be like, I don't want to use this and save $50 or something. That would be really cool. But in case you guys are interested, the noises are targeting, locking on, other way around, locking on, targeting, like the actual rockets shooting at it, the explosion of it hitting, and then the Wolfpack rounds. Do you care about the noises, Icono? Do you like them better? What are your thoughts?
It doesn't matter to me. I mean,
okay.
It's just going to go on a shelf,
Yeah. I think I'll have it. The one thing, I didn't find anything about if this comes with a stand, if it comes with the wall mount, if it comes with anything. So that'll be a fun do your own kind of project. I hope it comes with like a stand or something, because it'll match it. But if it doesn't, I won't be too bothered about that. But for sure, that'll be going in my office, and I'll look at it every day, along with my other favorite collector's items. That will be coming out in fall 2017. And I forgot to mention, it has like an inch of orange plastic around the rim, or around the barrel of it, rather. That is a regulation by the United States government. You have to do that so you can tell if a weapon is fake or not. They're looking into kind of loopholes and stuff, they said, to try to be able to paint that black. But for right now, as far as we know, there is going to be an inch of orange plastic, which, honestly, if you look at the pictures, it's not bad. Like, it's not too noticeable. And if it's just going to be hanging on a wall, yeah, I don't really care too much about that. I mean, it looks realistic as anything, just as the real Gjallarhorn. It looks more realistic than the real Gjallarhorn because the real Gjallarhorn is animated. It's also all these things are hand painted, pretty cool. McFarlane Toys always seems to have really high quality stuff, and the Iron Gjallarhorn will be priced at $150, which I thought was a little bit much, but everyone I've told about that has said, "Wow, that's cheap." So I guess that's not too expensive. So
it's not. Not for what you're getting. I mean, for it to be full sized with all the articulation on it, and it does have the sounds and everything. That's really not. That's actually. I mean, I would have expected $200 to $300 for something like that. I mean, it depends on what kind of quality it is though. If it's like a cheap plastic, if it has like a cheap plastic kind of feel to it, that might hinder things. Like if I'm paying $150 for it, I don't want it to feel cheap in my hands. But if it's got some weight to it, and if it it has that kind of feel of like it being a real weapon in your hands, then yeah, $150 is a steal.
I don't think it'll feel like a real like metal weapon, just because they said it is light enough, or the idea is for it to be light enough for cosplayers to carry it around for entire days. So that kind of sucks. But as long as it's like the plastic they use for like 3D printing.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's like that, I'll be fine with it. I mean, that's not too heavy. It's a decent quality. It might be hard to paint over that, so I don't think it'll be foam, just because it'll come in 3 parts and you have to assemble it yourself. I just feel like if it was foam, that would destroy it. So I imagine it'll be some type of plastic, but hopefully, like I said, McFarlane Toys is known for like really high quality stuff, so I'm sure it'll be pretty awesome and it'll look great on a wall. Either way, yeah, I'm pretty excited for that one. All right. Is that all you have to say about that? Any last comments on that?
No, I just can't wait to pre-order it.
Right, I'm right there with you. I don't know if I said this. It comes out around fall, so it'll be right up there with the Lord Saladin statue, which they had to put the two most expensive things out at the same time, didn't they?
Well, gotta get that Christmas business.
Right. Yeah, I guess you're not wrong. But yeah, so I guess we'll move on to the community feedback after I made that statement, and then as soon as I made that statement, like as I was saying it before you guys could even see it, we started getting some feedback. I guess I just wasn't patient enough. So first off, let me scroll all the way up to the top. Joseph Allen talking about the scories, and he's excited because it can't be used to charge super after super anymore, which is, I agree with. I think that was the main reason they made the change. I think that's pretty good. But then Pulsar disagrees with the change, and he thinks that he has a better fix for it. And I actually like this a lot. So he thinks that the Scories artifact should give a constant fourth of the max bonus right now. So a fourth of what it gives, it should give always. And then it's just full power after a kill.
The reason I disagree with that is that even at a fourth, I can see a 3-man team in trials still sitting in a corner somewhere, all sucking up each other's scories. Even if it's a fourth, I can see people still doing that.
Yeah,
depending on the map,
it would just take forever, though.
It would, and you figure if it's round 3, round 4, and you're down, and you've got you need to get your supers to get back in the lead. I could see the leader of that team saying, "Okay, we're going to go over here in this corner, and we're going to sit here and work off each other's scories for at least a few minutes." I mean, the fact that people still do it now, even at full power, I think is ridiculous, but people do it. So I disagree. No fourth, no eighth, no 16th, nothing. You have to get out there and into the game and actually start playing, and that's the only way you're going to get rewarded. Any kind of mechanic or any kind of weapon or exotic or artifact, anything that this game gives you that rewards you for not playing the game, it needs to be removed. That should just be like a prime directive in Bungie's creative team. From now on, if we're going to design something, we need to design it so that the only way it'll work properly is if you're actually playing the game. There should be no way to abuse something by not playing. So yeah, I'd have to disagree with them. I like the idea of a little bit now, but then you get more after a kill. I like that. So maybe they can do something where you kill one person, you get full power, super. But let's say you get a 3-kill streak. Let's say you get a 5-kill streak. Maybe you get double the super that you're giving to your teammates or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not only rewarding the person for getting out there and playing, but now we're really rewarding them for getting out there and getting kill streaks. So yeah, maybe something like that. So maybe taking Joe's idea of starting with something small and then getting something better when you get a kill, maybe we can take that to another level.
Okay. And just to kind of add to this, Joseph Allen says that the only time he really uses it is in raids, to right before a boss encounter. They'll all put it on to give each other their supers, and then they'll take it off and put on something else. And, you can't do that anymore, which I think is kind of another one of the points. Like, I guess it's good to have your super going into a raid boss fight, but I can't really think of a raid boss fight where you can't get your super pretty much right away anyways. I guess... Yeah,
I mean, Atheon, you got to get pulled into the time slit streams so that you have to get a ton of kills just to grab the relic.
Yeah, and then when you get the relic, it's like a 10-second recharge on your super.
Right. So. And then Crota, you've got, when you stand on that plate, you got all those acolytes and everything out there, and people are always making orbs around there anyways. King's Fall with Oryx, you've got all those, all the taken that's,
Oryx takes your super, right?
No.
The Shade of Oryx.
You're thinking of the Shade. I mean, Oryx himself, when you're in that room, there's all sorts of stuff. You got the snipers that appear. You've got the Taken out there. You got the Centurion that shows up in the middle. There's a ton of ads out there. There's a lot of easy ways to get orbs. And then in Wrath of the Machine, I mean, forget about it. I mean, you've got all those shanks and everything, and the sword and the shock captains and everything like that. There's plenty of ways to get your super in every raid boss.
Yeah.
I'm only thinking end bosses. I'm not thinking like of Golgoroth and Deathsinger and stuff. I'm not thinking of like the smaller bosses. I'm just thinking of the end bosses.
Well, I mean, for Golgoroth, you have a 10-minute jump to get to him. For War Priest, you have a 10-minute jump to get to him. For Daughters, you have a 10-minute jump to get to him. Let's see. Am I missing Deaths? Yeah, I mean, you'll always have it in Crota. Doesn't even matter. It's not really like another even boss in that. Vogue Templar, you have like a 10-minute walk to get to him. Plus the oracles and stuff right before him.
Well, I think what Joe was saying was after a wipe. So let's say you're already fighting the Templar, your whole team wipes, and then you start right back where you were, and then the Templar is right there again. Now you got to start fighting the Templar, but now you've got no super. So
Yeah.
I think that's what he was saying. But I mean, even still, just getting a kill is going to be super easy.
Yeah.
Still plenty of ads.
Yeah, good correction there. I didn't catch that, but I just re-looked at the question, and you're right. Then after that, we have Pulsar, who thinks the truth should still be 2 rounds. I'm with you, but, I'd rather this than nothing at all, so I'm cool with that. Let's see, the next person would be Dragonborn. He says that he hates the sound of the life-size galley because you pull the trigger and then the wolf pack and all that stuff. That was way before we started talking about it, but, I totally, like I was saying, I agree. I don't know. I don't know if it's more of like a... I just have no idea. I don't know why it would matter to me, like from a psychological level, why it would matter to me that it acts like that. I just hear that and it automatically is like, that makes it sound more like a toy, and I don't really like that. But once again, like Icano said, it'll just be mounted on a wall, so it really doesn't matter in the end. It's just kind of like my subconscious peeking through. Stop it. But, yeah, I guess that really... I mean, I don't like it too much either, but in the end, if you're just displaying it, it doesn't really matter. And heck, you don't... I mean, if you're not using it for that, don't put batteries in it, one, because you'll corrode it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to put batteries in it anyway, so... if you're not going to use the sounds, I mean. So, pretty solid. I think that's pretty much it. Matt Games asked if they buffed shoulder charge. No, they kind of nerfed it. No, they didn't. Yes, they did. They nerfed transfusion. Yeah, so they sort of nerfed it, but not enough to matter. It's kind of the same. And that's pretty much all the community feedback we have for this week. Do you have anything else you would like to add, Icano?
No, I'm just really curious to see what Deej is going to say next week. I want to see what he has in store for us. If we are gonna get content this month, we're probably gonna find out next Thursday. And worst case scenario, if we don't get it this month, he's at least gonna, I'm gonna say it because this is gonna been a running joke, for this podcast so far. He's gonna dangle the carrot in front of us next Thursday. So,
there it is. Can't get through an episode, man.
Nope. So maybe he'll dangle that carrot for us on Thursday, and we'll have something to look forward to.
One sec. Actually, I want to look up PAX East 2017 Destiny schedule. Here we go. Schedule PAX East. Oh, Destiny's not going to have an official booth. Why are they even going to be there?
They said that they were just going to be walking around saying hi to people and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just now remembered that they're not going to have a booth. I'm looking. Maybe PlayStation has something, because that's last year they announced the Sparrow Racing League at the PlayStation Experience or something. I'm bad at this. Black Ops 3 has a booth. That's kind of weird, but completely not related. I don't see anything about PlayStation being here. Let me check. I'm nearly all the way through, guys. I promise you don't have to look at my or you don't have to listen to silence for much longer. Either way, it looks like we'll hear something at PAX. I'm pretty sure, because why would they go to it? It doesn't make sense to me. Why would they go to something that they're not going to be supporting? Because you got to think, like, it's during, like, if Deej is advertising that he's doing it on his Bungie account, that means more than likely Bungie or Activision is paying for him to be out there, which means it has something to do with Destiny. So, yeah, that's, I mean, do you see a hole in my logic or anything, Icon, or does that sound pretty sound?
No, that's pretty sound.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so we'll have something. I didn't even check the dates of when PAX was. That was the whole reason I did that. It looks like it is the weekend of. Is it just next week? Boston, yes. March 10th through 12th. So actually, it's 2 weeks. But if you fly out for the early preview stuff, it'll be next week. So we'll find something out. I'm sure Deej will say, like, in the next update, look out at PAX for our next announcement, or give us a little tease, and then at PAX we'll get like a full-on trailer, and then we'll get a live stream, and then we'll be going well from there. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Awesome. Just one last thing. Joseph Allen says that he really enjoys the live streams and everything we do, so that's really awesome. And then I also want to give a shout out to everyone in the Gjallarhorn video. I had like literally 100 people say they were going to order the Gjallarhorn. I want to see how many people actually go through with it. And I'm actually excited because if it does well, that means that sets them up for doing more in the future, which is, I think that is my favorite kind of thing. Like if I could mount more weapons, I just hope like if they do like a hand cannon or something, I want them to keep it 1-to-1 scale. You know, I don't want them to make something like overly sized, because that's not what I look for. But yeah, that was off topic yet again. But that's pretty much the last word for this week. I've been Scaro9. You can find me at Scaro9 on Twitter, as well as Scaro9 on YouTube. And Icono, you can do your thing.
I'm Iconoclast. You can find me on Xbox Live. It's XX Iconoclast. You can find me on Twitter, MarlonB1984, or I'm sorry, MarlonB 1984 at Twitter. I'm always talking about nerdy stuff there. Yeah, I mean, let's just keep our fingers crossed that we get some good news next week, and hopefully we can have a good show next Friday.
Absolutely. And as always, guys, make sure you're sharing this around with your friends and leaving your feedback down in the comment section below if you're watching this on YouTube. Like I always say, more people here means more feedback, means more content for you guys. So thank you guys for everything, sharing this around, leaving a like rating, reviews and stuff helps. And, we'll see you back in episode 7 next week.